Hey y'all, so this is week 6 and focused on social relations, and we had our 2 texts and 2 articles. The social psychology focused on attractions and close relationships, and then on helping others, and the theories in social psychology focused on the equity theory, and then the 2 articles really focused on social roles and emotions. So a summary for this week is that social relations occur when there are relationships with others, and the relationships are influenced by several factors. And then according to Denise Polk, and that was in the Chatty, or however you pronounce it, book, she said that most interpersonal relationships are built around trust, mutual respect, and genuine concern for another person. And then, so when it comes to social relations, there are attractions, helping others, the equity theory, relationships, and emotions are just a few factors that are included. So those are my 5 points that I'm talking about this week when it comes to social relations: are attractions, helping others, the equity theory, relationships, and the emotions. So point 1, attractions. And then according to one of our texts, the social psychology, that individuals spend so much time and money to be presentable and attractive because they deeply care what others think of them. So people want to look attractive because of how people look at them and what people think of them. So they care about how they look based on other people, not necessarily for themselves. The social contact made with one another defines the need for affiliation, which can involve one having the need to be with someone or even be alone. And when an individual does not get the attraction, whether it be socially, physically, or emotionally, and then loneliness can occur. And then our book talks about how being lonely can be dangerous for some people. And people are attracted to those that they trust. According to one of the articles that we read this week, that trust is central and necessary for cooperative relationships, and that people tend to be attracted to those who have similar backgrounds, interests, and values as them. So one of my things when I was reading this is, so if this text says that people are attracted to those who have similar backgrounds and interests and values, the whole opposites attract thing that we've heard all the time must not be necessarily true. Point 2, helping others. Pro-social behaviors are the actions that are done with the intention of benefiting others. So you help other people in order to benefit them, not necessarily yourself. And then when helping people, we are likely to receive help in return. The bystander effect, noticing, interpreting, and taking responsibility are situational influences for helping others. So all of those our book talked about how those are reasons that people may take responsibility in helping people and helping other people that influence them to help them. And one of the articles said that because humans are often like to help others, it does require one to spend time, effort, and sometimes even money. So helping others doesn't also, you don't always just see it. It may be, financial, and it may take a lot of time and effort. Point 3, relationships. According to our text, that intimate relationships have 3 basic components. Those components were feelings of attachment, love, and affection. The second one was fulfillment of psychological needs. And the third one was interdependence between partners. In other words, influencing one another. And so not all intimate relationships will contain all 3 components. And relationships doesn't have to necessarily be intimate. It did specifically talk about intimate relationships and the need to be in a relationship, which had to do with attraction. So if it is an intimate relationship, then a lot of times those 3 basic components are seen in intimate relationships. Alright, so there are different types of relationships to discuss. So we said that there was the intimate relationship, and then there is the exchange relationships, and that is where people in the exchange relationships, they expect and desire strict they want the interactions to be reciprocated. So they expect it, they desire it. So if one expects or is giving a type of interaction, they expect it to be reciprocated back to them. And then communal relationships, they expect and desire mutual responsiveness to each other's needs. So in those relationships, they expect them to understand their needs. It reminds me of the 5 love languages. If my love language is one way and their love language is another way, then if you're a communal relationship, you expect and desire the responsiveness, understanding each other's needs. The third one is the attachment style. That's the way a person interacts with significant others. And there were 3 attachment styles with that: secure, avoidant, and anxious. So the secure attachment style is you get easily too close to others and comfortable, or easy to get close to others and are comfortable depending on them. So you feel secure with your relationship. The avoidant, are they somewhat uncomfortable getting close to others and has difficulty completely trusting and depending on them. So those are people that have trust issues and don't want to easily be in a relationship to depend on someone. And then anxious attachment style, they're worrisome, they're scared, they're not confident. And it also said that anxious attachment style often makes people run away, because people don't often want to be with someone who has an anxious attachment style if they're not confident in their relationship. Point 4 is emotions, and according to one of our texts, it said that emotions are fundamentally functional, having evolved to facilitate animals' effectiveness in dealing with potential threats and opportunities. So emotions are influenced by immediate situations and unknown events. So there are a ton of different emotions, and they can be influenced by immediate situations, so the things that happen right then and there can cause emotions, or things that are unknown that haven't happened yet cause emotions. And then seeing someone experience positive and negative emotions often triggers empathy for individuals. Empathy being that they understand or try and understand what people are going through, not necessarily that they can understand, but they try to understand. And then love, jealousy, anger, happiness, etc. Those are just a few examples of emotions, all of which can be either positive or negative types of emotions. And point 5, equity theory. And according to our text, once again, so the equity theory provides an explanation on how a fair relationship is part of social justice. In other words, so a relationship has to be fair, has to be equal on each part of the relationship. And it looks at social exchange and personal interactions and focuses on the balance in relationships. And Denise Polk discussed how it takes an abundance of effort in order to build, maintain, and repair relationships. No matter what type of relationship that it may be, the equity theory is a theory that is viewed as one where individuals have interactions with one another, which is viewed as an exchange of goods and services. So that theory looks at the relationship as a whole and sees how balanced it is, as well as their interactions with one another, and like it says, it's viewed as exchanges of goods and services. So my concluding statement is social relations this week. It involves a lot of things, but the 5 factors that I chose were attractions, helping others, relationships, emotions, and the equity theory. They're all involved in social relationships with individuals and having the ability to interact with one another. And these interactions are influenced by so many different factors. So my 2 questions for this week is the first one: when it comes to attractions, why do you think that people are attracted with similar backgrounds, attitudes, interests, values, and levels of physical attractiveness like our text describes? That's what I said in the beginning, is that it was funny how our text says that this is how people are attracted to each other. So when it comes to that, why do you think that they're attracted because of those things? So, and if that's true, does this mean that opposites indeed do not attract, as the old saying goes? And number 2, Scripture is filled with an abundance of examples when Christ helped others for their benefit, but not his own. And so what are two of your favorite times in Scripture when Christ has helped others to benefit them? It's a ton in Scripture. And so what are two of those that are your favorite?